Welcome back to MonsterTamer, our 2D Pokemon-like RPG created Phaser 3. In the last video, we worked on enhancing our logic tied to our signs by moving some of our data to an external JSON file. If you haven't seen the previous episode, you can find the link in the description. As always, you can grab the project source code up to this point, along with the completed code for this video from the links in the description. I'll also include any assets you'll need to follow along, so let's get started. Now that our game world is starting to expand, it's time to add a new mechanic to make exploring faster: running. In the classic Pokemon games, sometimes you needed special shoes or an item to run, and sometimes it was just built in. For our game, we'll keep it simple. Players can run anytime just by holding down a button. So for this feature, we're going to enhance our controls, so if our shift key is being pressed, this will have our player move faster in our game. To make this change, we'll need to add some new functionality to our controls class as well as our character class. So for our character class, when our character goes to move, we're going to include a check to see if our shift key is being pressed, and if it is, we're going to use a faster speed for our tween animation. To start adding these changes, let's start off in our controls. So in our controls class, we need to add in a check to see if our shift key is being pressed. Currently, we're using the built-in phaser cursor keys object, which already has a binding for our shift key. So all we need to do is hook into that object to see if our shift key is being pressed. So come down to our class, right above our get direction key just press method, let's copy our was F key press method. We'll paste that in. Now for our method name, we're going to do is shift key down. First, we're going to add a safeguard. If our cursor keys, if it's undefined, we just want to return false. Otherwise, we want to return our cursor keys, our shift object, and then is down. Next, let's jump over to our character class. To keep track of our players currently running, we'll add a new property to our class. So we'll do a protected property, and I'll call this is running. So I'm going to copy one of our types. Now for our type, this will just be a Boolean. So now if we come down to our constructor, after we do our check for is moving, we'll do this, is running. We'll do a default value of false. Next, we'll go to our move character method. So when we go to move our character from our world scene, we'll need to know if that character is currently running. So we're going to add a second argument here, and we're going to make this optional. We're going to call this is running, and by default, we're going to set it to be false. So before we call move sprite, here we'll update our is running property. We'll set that equal to our argument. Then finally, we need to update our logic from when we go to move our sprite. So we're going to move sprite, going to handle sprite movement. So inside this method, this is where we create our tween to move our game object from one tile to the next. So currently we have a hard-coded value of 600, and this is how long that animation will last for when our player or our NPC is moving. And so we're going to enhance this. So if this current character instance is running, then we'll have a shorter duration. We'll do this is running. So if this character is running, we'll do 300. Otherwise, we'll do 600 if they're not running. Finally, down on our onComplete method, once our character is done moving, we'll reset our is running back to be false. So now if we save, we should be able to test our changes and make sure nothing is broken in our game. So once we get into our game, if we start moving our character around, we should be able to move without any issues, and we should be moving at the same speed as before. Likewise, for our NPC that moves around, our NPC should be able to move without any issues. Now to have our player run, we just need to update our world scene. So we jump over there. Let's go into our update method. So first, we'll want to check to see if our shift key is being pressed down. So we'll do const. We'll do is shift key down. We're going to set equal to this, our controls. Then we'll do is shift key down. And now when we call move character for our player, we just want to pass in that is shift key down. Finally, we need to update our player class to expect our new argument. So in our player class, if we go to move character, we want to add in our secondary argument. So we'll do is running. We'll add our default value of false. And now when we call the move character method on our parent class, we just want to pass in is running. So now if we save, if we come back to our game, we try moving our character, we should move without any issues. Now if we hold our shift key, our player should start zooming around our map. And then when we let go of shift, we should go back to our regular speed. Nice. And so one last change we'll do is right now, it looks like our player's kind of gliding across our grass. And so to fix this, we need to increase our animation speed so it looks like our player's legs are actually moving faster. So to increase our animation speed for our character, we need to update our timescale property. So inside our move character method in our player class, after our if statement where we play our animation, here's where we'll want to update our animation speed. To do that, we need to reference our phaser game object, then we need to reference our animation state component, and then we want to update our timescale property. So our timescale property, this is going to affect how fast our animation is going to play. By default, our timescale value should be 1, and so if we test our changes, we'll see our animation plays at our same speed. When our character is running, we'll want to double this value, so our animation will play twice as fast. So we'll update our logic here. We'll do if. So if our player is running, we'll want to set our timescale to be 2, otherwise we default back to 1. So now if we come back to our game, if we have our character move around, we should be playing our animation at our regular speed. Now if we hit our shift key and move our character, we'll see our animation now plays twice as fast, and now it looks like our player is speed walking across our map. Much better. Alright, that's going to wrap up this episode of MonsterTamer. In our next video, we'll start working on our brand new feature, NPC battles. You can find the completed source code for this video in the description below, along with the links to the full series if you need to catch up. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a thumbs up. It really helps others find the series. And if you've been enjoying these phaser tutorials and want to support the channel, I set up a Ko-fi page. Even a one-time coffee helps me keep making more content like this, and the link's down in the description. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you'll know as soon as the next episode is out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.